Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Amir Garrett getting some work in. Had a great season out of the bullpen for the Cincinnati Reds. A strong unit for skipper David Bell. And then David Bell watched his front office make all these moves, and they bring in guys like Nick Castellanos, $64 million. Akiyama, he's going to be a weapon for them. Wade Miley, Mike Moustakas. And boy, the difference a year makes in terms of expectations. Let me ask David Bell all about that, who joins us now on MLB Tonight. David, good to see you. Man, the Reds all of a sudden have become the team that pundits like us, analysts, hosts are going, you know what, the team I like in the Central, the Cincinnati Reds. What do you think of those lofty expectations?
That's right where we want to be. That's a good sign if you guys are saying that. And, it's obviously that doesn't put any wins in the win column, but, the expectations are a good thing. And our team, I think we grew quite a bit last year, getting to know each other, a lot of us in our first year here. And, it was a big year. It was an important year. And then this offseason, we just added to that. And I'll tell you, through the first few days of camp, there's so much going on. But really the way our team is coming together, as a team, it's just sometimes you can't put your finger on it. But I couldn't be happier with our attitude towards, all the new protocols and everything being so different. Guys just really want to get out and compete and play the game. And I think more than anything, just pick up right where we left off in spring training. And this team really wants to see how good we can be. And there's a lot of excitement around our clubhouse.
Hey, David, it's Harold here. Talking about picking up right when you left spring training, you only were there a couple weeks. But as you've come back into this, what they're calling summer camp, you started sim games already. Why the decision to start so early? Was it you knew players were coming in a lot sharper than you thought, or you just felt like this was the window to have to do that to get ready?
It comes back to it's all about our pitchers. We, with opening day just over 2 weeks away, we have to get our starters, on track right from the very beginning. So we're still a little bit delayed. We have our starting pitchers and our relievers getting innings in on the mound, on the field. We have our position players taking full at-bats off of them, but we don't have our defense out there yet. So we're going to add in, a little bit each day. We're going to add to that and make it look more and more like a scrimmage, a little more of a controlled scrimmage, and then eventually get into where it looks like a real game. So I would say that will happen by next week, but for today, it was just more. It would look more like your live BP session in spring training.
David, Greg and I just discussed in the previous block about how clubs are going to be utilizing their rotation and their bullpen and how they're going to manage this, especially with the extra players on the roster. In particular, Michael Lorenzen said that he wants to pitch 60 games. How does that sound to you?
Well, if anybody can do it, he can. The way he takes care of himself and loves to compete, loves to pitch. I don't know if he will pitch in 60 games, but there's a chance he might get in all of them. I know he'll be ready to go into every game, and if it is a night that he's down and not available out of the bullpen, he will be staying ready, to come into the game and pinch run or come in for defense or potentially get in at bat. So it wouldn't surprise me if he leads the league in appearances as a reliever because of everything that he can do, all he does, with his abilities and his talents to help us win games.
Will he appear in the outfield anymore? Because I'm looking at your roster after all the moves Dick Williams made. I think you have like 18 outfielders. How are you going to juggle all of these guys?
That's a great point. You look at our offense and, we believe in our offense. In my opinion, we underperformed a little bit last year, and we have guys right on the brink of breaking out. We have a great offensive approach. We have guys that we believe in offensively, and a lot of that offense comes from our outfield, comes from the depth in our outfield. So the new DH rule, I really believe it'll benefit us. It'll make my job a lot easier trying to get everybody into the lineup. And so you're right. Whether or not Michael will get in there, he's still an elite defender. It's incredible for, being committed to being a pitcher first and foremost just his talent level. He can pick up, at any point, and if we do need him in the outfield, just elite speed and great skills out there. So I still believe it could happen, and I know he'll be ready for it, and we're not afraid to use him.
Hey, David, it's Harold again. The most intriguing player on your roster for me is Akiyama, because I don't know that much about him. Seen some video, but we haven't seen him play here yet. So can you give me a little scouting report? What have you seen so far?
So very fundamentally sound, a professional defensively. The at-bats he takes are very professional, quality at-bats. He sees a lot of pitches. You can tell he has a knack for getting on base. So you look at his numbers in Japan, we really believe that they're going to translate it into something very similar here. And, a lot of that just comes from his work ethic. He approaches offense and defense like it's a craft. He's an artist with what he does and works extremely hard, takes great care of himself, and just all around fundamentally sound. The way he plays defense at all three positions. He's primarily been a center fielder, but we're more likely to move him around the outfield to the three different positions just because he's so sound fundamentally. We believe he'll be able to handle that.
We believe you're going to handle that NL Central this year, David. This is going to be a fun team to watch. David Bell, manager of the Cincinnati Reds, thank you so much for catching up with us. We appreciate it, okay?
Okay, thank you, guys.